Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come to end of Season 5 for NSA Pro in the current 2024 F1 game. We are now at the season finale for what was a quite dominant season for Critical Damage, and still had very great races with lots and lots of action and upsets, highlights, surprises. Everything was in there. And today we are looking at the end of the season with a special 100% race. That's why we are already live to have a similar finishing time. The track for today is going to be Interlagos. 15 corners, probably the most preferred season finale to the F1 calendar by the fans. And yeah, let's see what this race has installed for us. Usually runs the C4 3 and 2 tire compounds. Yeah, does it again. We have two DRS zones into turns 1 and 4. Best overtaking opportunities today. But if you fancy it and you have a big tire advantage, the turns 8 and 10 hairpins are also there for your taking. And obviously, last return is turn 12 before you head onto the uphill rise for what is a tricky turn 1 braking. And we have 72 laps of that today and a short qualifying session before that. And to talk about the final result of last week. Hang on, that's Azerbaijan. My bad. That's the result. We had a controlled victory with a very close and tight finish for second and third as well. As you can see, there less than a second between the top 3 as Control led them home from a start to a lights to flag victory after taking another pole position. Critical decided to call it quits in quali and started what was essentially second to last, because only Tibran, his reserve teammate for last week, managed to be slower than him because of the disqualification. Very tight and twisty section in terms of tire management for Andy there. 26 laps on the hard tires, late calls for softs. Kovatska 12 laps to the end after a late safety car. Safety car lap 20 that brought these extra strategies into play. And there were spins for Fallison and the Rijat, who had promising showings inside that race, but after safety cars they both spun. And there was also a very surprising 6th place for Sinful on his debut for Alpine last time out, starting 15th. The race was not finished by Kranjork, Bosnian, GR, Sacco, who retired into the pit lane entry, John Meister, and Quincy, who didn't make it past lap 6. And the current the current Drivers' Championship looks like this. Critical Damage has taken the win, and the championship 2 races ago already. And you can see Control took his first points finish since his last victory in Saudi Arabia, which is quite crazy to think about, because before that He had barely any scores below the 2-digit numbers, so interesting to see. Yeah, Control moved ahead there. Fellerson also ahead of Bosnian. Both Williams are not racing anymore. And yeah, obviously Sinful up 16 positions into P18 with 8 points there. And yeah, that's it. Very little movement at this stage of the season. Ferrari has also sealed the constructors. Williams will not be scoring any points today. Am I on? Wrong file again. This is the current. Mercedes is into second now. And Williams is demoted by 3 places into 5th. Just because they couldn't race the last 2 in today's race. Aston Martin staying in 4th. And that, yeah, well, the hunt is still on. Mercedes is defending from Racing Bulls and Aston Martin. But as far as I'm aware, Aston Martin will not be racing today. With any driver. And Alpine is also the 7th team to reach at least 100 points. While Sauber, McLaren and Haas are still below 25 points. That might also change today. Let's go into the race session. And with that, obviously, I mean qualifying first. And it is raining. I hope they don't have rain in the race, because we're gonna be here for a while then. Our tires are gonna be inters. So let's talk about who is here with us tonight. We have Control for V-Cup, as well as Pleasant Snake. We have Bosnian, together with RPM Sinful, as Control just takes the first timed attempt to the line to finish it off, and Frankie goes into second. We have Haas with Frankie, as well as Supermax, who missed last week. There is no Sibo, but he's alone today. No GR1 today. Fellerson is once again joined by John Meister at a Red Bull. And then we have Katja, as well as Quincy, 2 reserves in the Ferrari. No critical damage for this race. Bit understandable. And there's Andy Andre and Kotska in the Mercedes. Have been for the whole season. And T-Brand in the Williams. Once again a reserve. Last time in the Ferrari. This time in the Williams. And we are swapping to Fellerson to finish, to see what he's putting on the board right now. And that's the new fastest and provisional pole position time by just 9 thousandths of a second ahead of Control. And next across the line might be T-Brand. Yes. But that wasn't a fast lap. Kowalska next. That's Andy on the main straight. But we are interested in his teammates' attempt. Goes into 7th. Good evening, Mr. Commentator. It's time to cook and finish season on high. Yes, Sinful, it is. Welcome, welcome. John Meister goes to P1 as he now sets. Oh, and Control beats that by 2/10. Control back into P1. And Fellerson did not improve here. Let's see if he is attempting another one. And T-Brand over the line now. Seems to be on a faster lap than before, and he goes to 16.0, roughly 8 tenths faster. Let's see if no C-bar is an improvement. No, that lap time was invalidated. Next across the line is Andy Andre, who goes to 14.2, and after that it's Pleasant Snake to start off a lap. Very good attempt. Also Katja is at a time, and Quincy is now starting a lap here as well. Let's see if Kowalska, yeah, Kowalska is still on a run. He indeed opted for that second attempt here, having a slow second outlap, and that's a 16.3. Still a bit off compared to the rest. Is there another attempt by John Meister, or is he diving into the pit lane? He is not. Over the line for the Red Bull. Needs 6 tenths of an improvement, is 5 seconds lower. Maybe that is his attempt now. And Frankie over the line. Starting one as well. What about T-Bran? 15.8, no C-Bow. Just shy of his personal best so far. That's a slow lap. That's another attempt. And that's Quincy over the line now. Goes to a 16.5. And Pleasant Snake behind. Got a bit of a boost in terms of slipstream. And is now trying to complete a lap here as well. Because the previous attempt wasn't worth anything. And we already have completed the 9:30 mark in this session, so that's at least two more attempts. Sorry for the Discord ping. 2 more attempts for the and Frankie goes into the 15.5s right on the dot. It's the 6 tenths away from P4 right now, the top group. And that's another slow attempt by Nocebo, if there was any. And what about Andy? Didn't improve. Pleasant Snake goes into the 15s. 15.0, and Quincy 16.5, but maybe this is a second attempt on this run plan. As Katja is now starting a lap. Let's go on board with the Championship and Constructors World Championship team. Today in the hands of Quincy and Katja, who are both reserve drivers. So Ferrari have opted to give an early holiday to their drivers, as we are now heading already into the second sector. And so there's an improvement of 2 tenths roughly right now for Katja, who is now entering the slow and very tricky, also technical infield of the Interlagos track. And just a bit of understeer there, because the car is very loose in wet conditions, so you need to minimize wheel spin and maximize traction, and that is a lot of wheel spin from the outside of the car, and that lets him over rotate before he could finish his lap. And Quincy is into the 15.8 and ahead of T-Ran now in 8th position. As Control is already out. Andy is still out. Kowalska comes into the pit lane, as does Katja after that spin. And Supermax on a 120.9 for now. Goes over the line to improve on his previous best and goes to 17.0. As both of the Alpines have not set a lap time. At least no valid lap time. And Andy Andre improves his previous best by almost 2.5 tenths, and goes to 14.0. A time to beat for these drivers if they want to be on pole position today. And some will try, and some will fail miserably. As there's a spin from T-Bran, a bit too early on the battery. Press the button too early and then spun it, and both of the Alpines have now exited the pit lane. I hope they have enough fuel for a second attempt. If anything goes wrong, tires are still intermediates. Although the rain is very light at this stage. But it's still coming down, and John Meister goes to second on a 14.3. And Fellison is now trying to improve on his time and obviously make it past his teammate. You always want to be ahead in the fight for that internal bragging rights for this season. Except for 1 or 2 races Fellison has been at. But most of the races John Master wasn't even here, so Bosnian immediately retires in the pit lane as T-Bran is giving it another shot. Very odd call there. T-Bran once again early on a battery charge. 4 minutes to go. Still plenty of time. Yeah, now you can complete your current hot lap, have a cooldown, and go again after that. Fellison next to cross the line, currently just on the brink of the 15.0s. He needs some time to improve. And he goes to provisional pole position! Provisional pole position by Fellison on a 13.992. As Nocebo finds a roughly half a second improvement to go to 10th on a 15.9. What a lap by Fellison. Wow. T-Bran is about to finish his one, draining all of this battery, and he goes to P5 on a 15.026. Good effort by the Polish driver. And both of the Ferraris are starting in another attempt here behind Pleasant Snake in the V-Cup. Next across the line. Frankie, but his time is invalid. Fellison has prepared another lap. Control is right behind that. He's being boosted by his competitor. Probably without intention. Nocebo starts one more lap. Sinful has already set a time, but that is far from competitive right now. 7 tenths between P11 and 12, and an extra 4 tenths to P12, P13. Peasant goes into third, and Quincy and Katja both improved. Katja is into the 14.4, And there has been an impressive lap by Snake to put it in third right now at 14.3. John Master starting another attempt. And let's see what the Autodromo Jose Carlos Bache looks like, as well as has retired in the pit lane. Very short first sector, only 3 turns. And a straight. Now into the infield in semi-wet conditions. It's still raining. It's still damp for these drivers. They need to be cautious about these curbs, about these traction zones, because you can get caught out if you don't fear them just a little bit. And his car is stable and on the road. 3/10 of an improvement into the final sector, which is essentially only a flat out double right, double apex left-hander. Can John Meister beat his teammate? He can! Both of the Red Bulls are now in the front row, and that would be a good starting position to claim maybe second place from Mercedes. And Control goes to pole position. Provisional pole position for Control, even faster than John Meister just now. Supermax is done. No Seaboy is done. That's also quality over for Sinful. And it's Covert's car, not Andy. Nope, that's not faster. Snake. The final climb towards the pit lane. And he aborts his lap. What about Katja? Can he improve? He can. He goes to 5th. Quincy stays in 9th. What about Andy Andre? He does not improve. It's 4th for the Mercedes. Is there anyone who has a response? Front ring damage for John Meister. Control doesn't seem to be fast. And it's one hell of a dominant performance from the V-Carb / Red Bull rostrum, with Snake being in 6th, his teammate in 1st, and John Meister in front of Fallison for the senior Red Bull team. Yeah, well, the gaps are still big. Don't know why Bosnian didn't race. Or didn't even try one lap. There you have it. Control takes another pole position, back-to-back pole positions after Singapore. John Meister 2nd, then Fallison, Andy Andre, Hungarian, Romanian, Hungarian, Romanian, Hungarian, and then there's a Norwegian driver with the name of Pleasant Snake in 6th, then T-Brand in front of Frankie. Quincy Kovatska, no Sibo, and then 2 17.0s for Supermax and Sinful. No time on the board for Bosnian Helmet. And we head into a quick break before we start off with the formation lap and the 100% race. And we are back for the formation lap of this race. And you can see that the start is in wet conditions. And we only have Supermax on full wets right now, the rest is on inters. And I hope for the drivers that it is not a full weather race, because this is gonna be hella difficult and quite possibly boring. Of course, more mistakes can happen, less overtaking. And more crashes. Drivers are lining up. And we go to 5 red lights for 71 100% season finale, and John Meister has a very good getaway and is leading into turn 1 ahead of control. Fallison is fighting that car over the inside car there. As we head towards turn 4, Sinful is fighting there at the back as Supermax is trying to get his tires underway. And lots of spray kicking off here. John Meister goes wide into 4 and Control has the opportunity to retake that lead. As Katja is fighting Annie in the back there, and Pleasant Snake is in this as well. A long way to go around the outside here for the V-Cup driver, as both of the Red Bulls are still on the back of him. Our map is still already activated, and Quincy fights the outside of turn 9. That turns now to the inside of 10. I don't know how that little bit is not a turn. Don't question that. And Quincy is up into P9. And obviously there's no DS available. Oh, slightly. And he has overtaken Katja for 4th. As they have now completed the first lap. Sinful to the inside of Nocebo to take 12th place. There's front wing damage to Sebo's right hand side in plate. Or wingdom. It's gonna lose a lot of downforce here. It's anti-clockwise track, just like Singapore was last week. And you're gonna lose a lot of downforce. As Katja gets really close, and then is tapped by Pleasant Snake. Tapped by Pleasant Snake into the rear diffuser of Katja, who has now lost the position to Pleasant and T-Bran as well. And Kovaska is defending from Quincy, who's feeling these conditions right now. He goes around the outside of the Mercedes driver. What a move already by the young Brit. And he has now taken 8th spot and is up again by 1 after a poorer start to this race. And Fallison has already lost the front 2. John Meister still with control as Bosnian is into 10th. Passing Frankie into turn 1. Surprised we are already seeing moves. Despite this weather. Yeah. Looks very overcast and it's drizzling still. Obviously have to keep in mind how the weather can or also might be transforming over these laps. And Frankie has just spun the car up the hill. No damage done. But a huge chunk of time lost. His teammate is still fighting these forward tires. Has now lost the group and is back by roughly 4 seconds to Nocebo. As Katja is at the back of T-Bran. Obviously, ERS is most of the times only used on this straight. And T-Bran has left the session. And is now unfortunately invisible. Let me quickly check if I have him as a friend. Unfortunately, I do not, apparently. Nope. Needs to be re-invited. And everyone is now going through his ghost car, which is in place for him when he rejoins. And he just has done that. Unfortunately, is demoted to P10. AI level is not that high. As Bosnian is trying to go around the outside of Kovatska into turn 10. Side by side. The Bosnian and the Hungarian driver. And the Alpine prevails and is into 8th position. Hunting down the Ferrari of Quincy now. And 3 out of the 4 reserve drivers are now behind each other. John Meister has lost control, but Fellison is back into the 1 second. Currently not important, because no DS is activated. But still nice to have a small gap to the current front for a bigger slipstream effect. As Kovaska runs wide there in the back. Fellison is closing up again. And Bosnian is hunting his prey. As Quincy goes wide there. Re-emerges into our camera shot. And there's a dive from Bosnian to the inside. I don't see shit, unfortunately. That was aggressive, but hard racing, I'd say. Still the glitch with the Alpine. 1 Ferrari done. 1 more to go. And someone is off. Sinful is off. The unofficial last turn of this track, 10-12, Jung Sao. And there's also another spin by the Alpine driver who's just continuing backwards. He will be placed onto the track soon. Or disqualified. Don't see anything happening on the... Okay, now he's back again. The weather is a lot, it's a lot sunnier now. 3 seconds for Nocebo. First time penalty of the day. So the rain might be easing up soon. It's just a couple of drops left. And the sun was showing itself. So maybe we have a switch to the slick tire soon, as Control once again improves on his fastest lap. And is the current fastest lap holder in this race. As his teammate is still in 5th, currently 3.2 seconds behind that group. That is now led by Fellison, which includes his teammate, John Meister and Andy Andre. And there's a spin! There's a spin from Katja! And there's a safety car for that! Safety car on the check! And now we're probably gonna see changes to the slick tire, because I don't see any rain yet. And if you stare now on the Inter tires, your restart is gonna be hell. And unfortunately, Supermax pits to Inters. I don't see any rain. It's gonna be damp for some laps now. Until the official, well, the unofficial FIA in the pits decides it's time for slick tires. And you can see that Sinful, at the first opportunity given, has taken a chance. And these mediums are gonna last long. But he needs to be careful as everyone now heads into the pits, understandably. Or a single one should stay out, and Supermax should rejoin the pit lane. He will only lose one position. Please put on new medium or hard tires. Hards for control. Snake goes to mediums. Soft, so Bosnian even wants to have a faster, well, I don't know how to call this stint. Second early stint. Usually this is already a third, or for the longer races a fourth, a quarter of the race distance. Most of the drivers have swapped to a slick tire. With, well, Andy and John must have stayed out. Right choice for now. It's going to be slippery for some laps, but they cannot undo the pit stop. And the pit stop time they will be losing. They will gain some time, even opening up the gap. As Supermax goes to mediums. Only John to softs, and Control and Fallison. Oh. Yeah, a typical Brazilian pit lane accident. They will go long, but these tires are gonna feel horrible. Watch out, Supermax, don't crash it. It's gonna be a long safety car. Sinful actually is swapping to the hards now. That's not a good idea. Mediums or softs. I think Bosnian's shout is good. Control is coming to the pits once again. And there's a 10-second time penalty for Quincy, as he's also heading into the pit lane. What is the plan for Control now? He's even behind Quincy. Goes to fresh mediums again. Why? Control goes also to mediums. Why has Quincy pitted again? Sorry? Oh, and he is disqualified from the session, blocking the pit lane after spinning in it. Yeah, the game is ruthless with this, and Quincy is disqualified from this race. Be careful with your throttle application in these damp conditions, because you're gonna fuck your race massively. Who the fuck is this T-Bran? Somehow in 11th. Gonna have a long safety car, because these guys are just extending it for an extra lap at least. I don't get Sinful's call. It is not the go-to tire. Never in 100% races when there's a change from the weather. Because they need more laps to be in the right window, and it's still damp. It's not raining as we said before, but still damp. And I'm wondering if John Meister and Andy Andre start to think, okay, the longer the safety car goes, the worse for us. Because, yeah, the track is only gonna get better. The only part that can bring these guys back right now, they even switched to new intermediates. They are 2 laps old. They switched to new intermediates. But why was Control in 3rd after the pit stop? Is this bugged? Let me check. They did go to mediums. To another set of inter, sorry. Huh? But how did Control lose so much time? He was the first car in. No front ring damage? Maybe a spin at the exit of the pit lane? I have no idea. Safety car is in at the end of this lap, and John Meister will be pacing the field. Once again, a reminder, 2 hard runners, 1 soft runner, 2 inter runners, and the rest is on mediums. Tire warm-up is horrible right now. I paused to sort out the PC issue. The game pits me, 10-second pen, and then spin in the pit lane. Then DSQ love this game. Okay, I was wondering why you would pit again. John Meister is calling the shot, and he has decided to go, but Andy has realized he's on the wrong tire, and John Meister needs to make sure he understands that he has currently, for just a couple of laps, maybe even just 1 lap, a tire advantage. And the more time he can gain on the drivers behind would help. The game decided that the tire you were on was not the best and then pitted you for 2nd medium. Yeah, obviously, I get, the only thing I get is the DSQ, because you were blocking the pit lane. Not on purpose though, but I get that, even with ghosting on. Bosnian is trying to place this up, he's fighting Pleasant Snake, slight touch between both of these cars, goes around the outside of Turn 11, he's not done yet. Snake is still fighting, and then there's a loss of traction for him as John Meister has pulled a 3.7 gap already on lap 1. But his tires will be the wrong ones in a couple of laps time. DS is enabled, and Fellison has already beaten the fastest lap time right now. Pit in 10 seconds is crazy, that's correct. Kovatska is having penalty also for Bosnian. Supermax had one under the safety car. No Sibo also with a time penalty from before. And Bosnian has taken 2nd position off of Fellison. And let's see what Andy decided is the best tire right now, the hard tire. And it's gonna be one hell of an evening. Pit stop and the penalty. Don't get how the game can speed for you. Another 3 seconds for Supermax. Skovatska's fighting Control. Lost that position and now catches the next. Hungarians are having a private battle here for the 5th right now. And the gap is coming down and John Meister pits. John Meister pits from the lead and his tire strategy did not work. But Bosnian, who started last in this race, is leading by lap 13 and this man is on a mission. He said it himself, he wants to go out there and have some fun, and Fellison is currently not having any of this because he's needing to defend from both of the V-Cup drivers. Pleasant into 2nd position. Is Fellison fighting that back? On the outside is a car. To the inside is almost another car. And they are scrambling for positions here. Fellison first into the infield. But Pleasant Snake has a nice look down the inside. Has more grip of his tires available right now. Goes to the inside of turn 8. That turns to the outside of of turn 9, but there is a lot of space open for control. If they fight too much, he goes to the inside of 10, completes that because Fellison is running a bit wide. Kacha is there in the back. Can he capitalize off of these hard tires that Fellison seems to be having no grip on? And he has been demoted to 4th just in this infield section, one sector of this lap around the Interlagos track, and he has been demoted. Now Control is looking to charge past Pleasant Snake, and he has completed that move, and now 4.6 seconds to the next guy, and Pleasant Snake has been ghosted, has now lost 2 positions, probably a loss of traction at the exit of turn 1 or 2, and then the game decided, yeah, you are unsafe to race, my guy. You need to be held back, and that is probably gonna be very painful for him now, because now his resources he used to get that position are gone, and he lost that position to no fault of his own. John Meister gets Super Max. How did John Meister come out ahead of Andy? Oh my word, Andy, what are you doing? Why did you go to the hards? How many laps ago was this? 1. So lap 13. Fast lap from Bosnian. 13.8. And then immediately beaten by Control on fresher medium. No idea how that works. Plus Snake is fighting Kacha. Was on the inside for turn 1. And now changed to the outside of turn 2. And John Meister is already into 10th. This group of cars is just fighting all over the place. Kacha has the better tire than the car ahead. The same as the car behind. See if he can have these tires get him back into the rhythm to fight for a podium. As Bosnian improves the fastest lap. Is that beaten by Control? It is indeed. 4.2 seconds. But the softs are gonna be good for another couple of laps. As we have reached 1/4 of this race, and John Meister now sets the fastest lap of the race with that extra DRS from cars he has overtaken, and is about to take 9th position off of No Sibo. Kovacs got another 3-second time penalty. Late move to the inside, but No Sibo is aware that a faster car is coming through. Kacha with a 3-second time penalty. And John Meister into 9th position. And he is now at the back of Sinful. These hards are not working right now. They go long, but they are slow. And that's the difference in gap right now. Over 5 seconds between the 2 cars that were together on the inter-tire. And now Andy goes around the outside of Sinful for turn 11. And is now into P11. So we see Kovacs pulling into that DRS window of Fellison. With Pleasant Snake still behind him. And Fellison has received a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. And with some tough luck, some poor soul is gonna get disqualified from too many penalties tonight. Not off the table. Also track temps are still low. The track is still overcast. And nothing is gonna help these hard runners right now. And another time penalty. Supermax this time. Let's see if Katja is close enough. No, he's not. Pleasant Snake will attempt an overtake now. Goes to the outside for turn 1. Late move on the brakes. Both of them. Inside for turn 2. Is the outside for turn 3. And he seems to be ahead. Still getting the DS from the car in front. That is Fallison, and he moves into 4th position on merit, even though there are penalties for both of these cars around him. T-Brand is fighting Frankie and Kovatska for P6 after his brief disconnect, and the Polish driver is leading them after that move. And Bosnian is extending that gap to control, 4.3 seconds. And he probably will be going to the medium tire in the second race phase. After that pit stop scenario changed because of the safety car. The rain would have probably arrived at the same stage, but the point in time where you could switch to the tires has changed because of the slow safety car. Another 3-second time penalty for Supermax. I think that's double digits already. As well as in defense from Pleasant Snake on his attempt on this lap. So no moves here. And Sinful is at the back of no Sibo. Just a reminder how the tires look. This is their current fitted tire and their tire age. John Meister on the freshest medium tire, which seems to be the fastest tire right now. And John will be at the back of the T-Brand train in just a couple of moments. You can see that from his onboard now. Is already into the DS window, and he will be able to flatten the flap in. He's rear wing as Pleasant Snake moves into 3rd position, fighting Fallison for it, and that's VCAP 2-3 again. John Meister was unable to get by on Frankie this lap, but he might have a chance next lap. Very similar ES for these cars. Fallison was fighting that back on the outside of 4, is now on the inside of 7 and 8, and that means Snake so once again demoted to 4th. See if John Meister fancies a trick. Frankie defends the inside for turn 10. That is now the outside, and John Meister says, "Thank you very much. I'm just gonna take that." And Frankie's maybe overcommitment to defend from John, or maybe there was even an attempt for getting Kovatska's position. Did not pay off. As the Red Bull driver is now into 8th position. Let's see if Fallison is repassed here. No, and the sun is coming out. Lovely to see. Oh, bless rain. Oh! And John Meister has taken Kovatska as well. Just a couple of turns later. The gap at the front has now come down to 3.6 seconds. 6 tenths lost over the last couple of laps. For Bosnian, who has started this race in last position after not setting a lap time in quali. Stallmeister locks the front brakes. Going into turn 12 there. And let's see if there's a move by any of these drivers. Kovaska to the outside of Pleasant Snake. He had to go the long way around. That obviously means you are not in position to be side by side for turn 2. To get the advantage there, and then now he has to sit back and wait. And John Meister is doing the opposite. He's taking things, and especially his destiny in this race, into his own hands and is now leading this train of cars for P6 and 6.8 seconds behind the next car. That's Frankie in the back there. Also jumps ahead of Kovacs car, as Andy is roughly 4 seconds behind this now trio, because John Meister is already pulling away from the Williams. Sorry. Frankie goes for it on T-Ban and has taken 7 for now, but he's runnable to the DS of both of these cars behind. T-Ban to the inside, and he has retained that spot, and that obviously enables cars behind, namely Andy Andre, to fight back as Kovaska is going for a long range around the outside of turn 8. That is also turning to the outside of, well, technically turn 9, but this isn't turn 9. It's just turn 10. What about ES for these drivers? 100% for Katja. Well, that's gonna be rather boring for a pass. And John has already claimed 9 tenths off of these cars, and now there's a free wide moment as Pleasant Snake is left vulnerable to both of these drivers. No DS means a lot of more overspeed for the cars behind, and now Fellison fights him for 4th and has retaken that. And Andy is closing in on his teammate and that group of cars ahead. Pleasant goes to the inside very late. Bit brave. Not totally stupid. Is still on the outside, turns to the inside for 10, and now he has lost the airs and Katja can push away. He has used 60% of his battery to benefit off of these two fighting cars behind him. And they are still racing. DS is available to Fellison. He was behind Snake at the start, well, at the detection zone. Stays ahead, Vika for now. That is costing him. They should decide if they want to have one car that's boosting them back to the rest of the field, as Supermax has received another 3-second ability. And the gap at the front is down to 2.7 seconds, as Bosnian now needed to lap Supermax. And Katja's gone. He has extended a gap far away from them. Who is the next car to make a move here? Is it Fallison? Start of lap 26. But no launch down the inside for the Red Bull. And there's his teammate just behind him. 3.8 seconds. And these mediums are certainly working very, very good for them. And especially how Sean Meisters are the freshest. Tire reminder. Half of the usual 50% race, so 36 laps, has been completed by Bosnian on soft tires, but he's losing to the car behind. As Andy has now received the 3-second time penalty, he has caught the back of this strain with Frankie Chibrin-Kovalska and now himself, as Pleasant Snake is thinking about how he is or should be faster than Fallison had, and didn't work for him. He is immediately repassed as Kovalska is now fighting Frankie, but there is Andy Andre who has now benefited off of that, and he goes to the outside and off the track with half of his car, and Frankie can retake that position, and now he has to think about if he wants to make a move, because this is mostly single file, very difficult to get right if you're offline. After that, it's fair, a lot fairer than this. And there's a spin by, oh, sorry, by Sinful, no. Kovalska has lost the car there. And Pleasant Snake has re-overtaken Fallison, but is immediately repassed by Fallison. Nope. Not maybe now. There's a chance. And he decides to give it another go later. And Andy is now into 8th position. Into turn 4 he goes for move on Frankie. And there's a spin. Pre-yellow flag. And that's Control. Control has lost the car. The gap was down to 2.3 seconds. Now it's up again to 5.3. And he is not happy with that, and has a spin by Supermax probably. Yeah, already been lapped by everyone up until P9. So not the best day in the office. And by 50% race standards, in terms of race distance, he has not completed the 36 laps. Another attempt by Pleasant Snake here into turn 4. Yes. Will it stick? Will you stick it? Stay side by side. But Pleasant is now ahead of them, and there's John Meister who is licking his teeth right now. He has a great opportunity to finish on the podium here. Control, despite that time loss, has already cut back at least a second here. And the tire advantage from John Meister is going to help him go far and deep into the distance, as there's another yellow flag for Haas. And Fallison. is fighting with Pleasant Snake, but has to look in the mirror now. His teammate is there. Annie into 7th. Can Featherson go for P4 once again? Yes, he can. I don't know how many times we've seen that move so far, and there's been a loss of time for Andy, but just a tiny one because T-Brand fought back, and Featherson ahead of Pleasant Snake and John Meister for now. Please don't tell me this is a full one-stopper. 22 laps. Up for at least 2. Well, in Sinfood's case, we're gonna get another safety, another pit stop. And John Meister's going for that P4 after his teammate was left without defense because of no DS. But he is now defenseless, as John Meister is now being defended by Featherson. He pulled into that slipstream between the V-Cup and the car of his teammate, and T-Brand has to concede that position now to Andy on lap 31. And 3.3 seconds is the gap now between Bosnian and Control. I think Control can easily go to the end. It's gonna be tougher at the end, obviously. And this Bosnian can easily run a fresh medium to the end. Maybe even a soft one if he can hold that pace. There's Snake once again. Going for that move on the inside. Oh! And there's been a contact! There's been contact from Featherson. And he has hit the back of his teammate. They did that in this season already. Early days. Back when we started with this season. They hit each other. This time they came away with it. They had no major, at least it seems like they have no major damage. But a position lost to the V-Cup in between them. And Andy's target is this group. He's currently trailing by 7 seconds. Featherson is still Pleasant Snake. But John Meister has just almost had almost done the job for getting the car behind out of the DRS window. Very sharp turn in angle from Pleasant Snake. As Control has now received a 3-second time penalty, so that advantage at the front is now gone. And they have to fight on merit for P1. Snake and John Meister in the top 5 are still without a time penalty for now. 13 laps into the Grand Prix. 33 laps into Grand Prix. And we're about to reach the halfway mark. The usual 50% race distance, and I would assume Supermax is gonna call it a day now. Wouldn't be surprised. No, not yet. Okay. And John Meister couldn't get rid of Pleasant Snake. This bet is gonna go on forever. Reminder for position changes. Most of them are red, but the biggest screen is only four people won a position. Wow. Bosnian has all of them. 13 in positions 2.2. The next car 26 laps on soft tires. But the gap is coming down. If he pits now, that's too early for another medium, another soft. But he's not far away from that. If you can go 5 laps longer, that's 31 point. Yeah, that's 31 laps. And there would be just about 30 laps left to go. So yeah. Let's see if that is the strategy for Bosnian, although you have to say that his pace is good enough to gain on these guys who are fighting for like, I don't know, 15 laps at least now. And Feddersen will go to the end without any doubt. But if the mediums feel like you could lose it every second, then I'm gonna switch off. Switch from the yellow wall tire to probably the red walled soft compound. Is way faster, but wears out the fastest. And another spin by Supermax, who's about to be led by everyone. Just a couple of more cars to come around, especially at McLaren. He's just 5 seconds away. As the slipstreaming has not ended yet. And Supermax once again with a 3-second time penalty. Let's check penalties for him. 27. Not too bad. And he is retired. Supermax is no longer racing with us and has joined the disqualified Quincy in 13th now. And control is closing in on Bosnian. These three are fighting for their lives, especially Ferguson and Pleasant Snake have showed everything they got. Tire difference is not that high, as you can see. As Ferguson tried it there on the inside of turn 8 and turns to the outside of 9, and by that stage you want to be ahead again to not leave any opening from you to the others. And there's a mistake by Pleasant Snake, and up the hill Ferguson is ahead, but he did not get the gears this time. Snake was behind. And stays in 6th for now. As Ferguson has received a 3-second time penalty, on control is at the back of Bosnian Hamid. The race leader is under pressure from his nearest rival, and he would be able to complete the second stint on soft tires as well if he would pit. For a second soft tire. There was another time penalty. As Pleasant is now the only one remaining in the top 7. What penalty? Can Control go for it? He's showing himself. Not this lap. Catcher pits. Catcher pits from P3. Can go mediums. Could also go softs. Tire goes very long on this track. And around the outside goes Control. He has won the battle for P1 as of right now, and pit stop from Catcher turns out to be 4 fresh mediums. 30 laps done on them tires and roughly 32 laps to go on the fresher tire that has less fuel in the car, less overall performance to carry around. That obviously helps with a lot of track time. See if Bosnian does not decide to go into the pits. And Bosnian has pitted. It seemed very late. And Snackers lost the DRS to the Red Bulls ahead. And Bosnian actually goes to medium. That only has to carry him 1 lap further. Interesting. So Katja and Control pit stops. Bosnian re-emerges ahead of Andy Andre in 5th position, and as the tire is way older behind. Well, he's in the sandwich of the 2 drivers who just pitted, and Control is also pitting. Makes sense. He's under threat from an undercut. He can go to the second medium, but he can also fancy the soft. He wants to. He goes to the hard tire. What? Why? And a new fastest lap by Katja. Was chasing down Andy now. I don't get that. That doesn't make any sense. Hearts don't make any sense. How is he so close to these cars behind? What was the gap? Wow. Bosnia has the better tire and is just 1.4 seconds behind Control. Interesting. Interested to see what Fellesen does. If you want to continue racing on these tires, they're going to be 60 laps old because we still have 30 laps to go. And no pit stop from either of the Red Bulls. What about Pleasant Snake? No pit stop, but no Sibo. As a 3-second time penalty. What now? I think as Pleasant Snake I would have immediately pitted after the first had also done his pit stop, because then he would be in sync with the pit stop of Control right now. And oh no, wait, they're teammates. Yeah, well, to be fair, there was some time in between, so would have checked if when Bosnian pitted in the pit as well. And then controls the lap after that, just like he did to answer to that. He also could have... Yeah, no, that's the best shot, I think. DRS boosting by both of these Red Bulls is not pleasant. Snake is under pressure, but he decides to go onto fresh tire now. I suppose that's the newest fast lap of the race. And Andy has been overtaken by Kacha. Huge tire offset here. And Snake goes to the softs. Makes a lot of sense. Bosnian is fighting control for the lead of the race on the inside of turn 4. And he is ahead by just a car length before they approach turn number 6. As whoever that is has just joined. PRL Javilton. Fallison and John Meister are very much at the risk of losing this race big time because they did not pit. And now they have no tires to answer and it's still a long way to go. Kacha with another 3-second time penalty. How the hell did you get that there? Bosnian has just completed the fastest lap of the race on a 10.3 and it's just under a second behind these two guys who did not pit, and I don't know if they will, but Fallison will swap positions for now. With John Meister, and then is immediately overtaken by Bosnian, question mark? No. Goes a bit deep, and there's Bosnian on the inside. And a late lunge into turn 8 by the Alpine driver. Seals the deal. Now he has a tire advantage on the next Red Bull as well. Goes to the inside of turn 10. Completes the move to retake the lead of the race. And he done what he did before. Just at the start of the restart. When we switch to slick tires. And now Control is the next who needs to get through these Red Bulls. The first one is done. Slipstreaming the second one. He has a double slipstream from the car ahead. That is currently still Bosnian helmet. He cannot complete the move on the second one. But is now into third position as of right now. With 16 laps to go. The Red Bulls are committing to that only set of slick tires as Kovacs is fighting Nocebo for P11. Frankie heading into the pit lane as of right now. And now Bosnian helmet has the prime position to take a last to first race victory at the season finale here. Both of the Red Bull drivers almost certainly settling for P3 at best. Kacha is catching them from the back. He has currently no DRS to his name, so that's why they are not losing so much time. Andy, who also pitted, did he? No, Andy, who is still out on his old tires in 6th there, and now Control is into first. Has the weaker tire for the rest of the race. And there's no DRS currently available. Now Andy pits. Fallison's still on the old tires. I think they will fully commit to that. Sinful, I have no idea. Andy loses 2 positions here. Goes onto the fresh medium tires. Meanwhile, others have already fitted the softs. Only Sinful and Pleasant Snake without time penalties. And only 2 people, both Alpines, have won a position here. What a race. Now let me change that for you. Snake is fighting T-Bran for 6th position after his pit stop. Once again, big tire offset. Very big tire offset. No, John Meister has lost to the S2 control, sorry. "15 seconds is the gap to the Red Bulls, and he needs to complete that. As John Meister now pits, that's very late, that's too late. Way too late. Also, only mediums. You have trash softs from the fucking race, for the fucking race from quali, because there was no dry running. My guy, there was a guy who was racing 30 laps on these. And now you decided to come in to have a tire offset of 4 laps, yes, but you're 3 seconds behind someone who has no time penalty. Huh? What are you doing? Get your shit together, Red Bull. That's an awful strategy. T-Ran also in the pit lane with new mediums. I don't know what they're thinking with Red Bull here. Lap 46. You wanted to commit, but you couldn't because the tires are just dying. Bosnian has the newest, fastest lap of the race. Kacha is taking third back. He was there for the whole race. Tried to undercut the drivers ahead. They were 7 seconds away. And now he is only 3.2 behind them. Despite him not getting boosted by 2 other cars during that stage. I'm just gonna leave this here. I'm interested to see when or if Sinful and Ferguson pit. And Ferguson goes deep into turn 8 there. Currently no battle active right now. So just a bit of a breather here for us. I think I'm gonna give you a quick advertisement before we head into the final minutes. 30 seconds. The race has calmed down a lot. After multiple fights were active for some laps. It kind of switched. John Meister's actually catching Pleasant Snake. Which I find rather surprising. Maybe it's the tire at the pace offset. I have no idea who is the fastest. These gaps have stayed the same. Maybe the soft is not liking the warm weather now, because it was still overcast when Bosnian pitted. This is the phase where the concentration is starting to die, and if you don't have anyone who is keeping that adrenaline high right now, you need to make sure that you are still in that concentration window in this stage of the race. I know that myself, because if you have done your final pit stop now, which for at least 2 drivers is still a question mark. Maybe 3. 41 laps on mediums for Sibo. 41. For someone who is commentating on league racing, that's a lot crazier to think about or to say out loud than the 57 hard tire stint from Albon in 2022 or 3. To get 1 point feels more natural to say, and someone pulls a pit strategy like this. But when your races are capped at 50%, with Monaco being a maximum distance of 39 laps, and this just looks ridiculous. Gap at the front has stayed the same. Gap to P3 has stayed the same. John Meister has now caught up to Pleasant Snake, and Sinful decides to pit on lap 52 for a fresh medium tire, and he will be lapped by Fallison and overtaken by Nocebo, who he's actually fighting on the pit lane exit. Nocebo is further ahead. But the tire disadvantage for Sebo couldn't be higher. John Meister has pulled into that DS of Snake. He has closed down the gap to Fallison to 9.7 seconds. And this is how soft tires should feel. That big chunk taking off of your competitor in the early stages, and the tires are probably not dying after 9 laps, which is obviously nice to have. If he's thinking about the smart, then he should try to maybe use John as a boost to get ahead, because if you think about it, fighting now would kill the tires, as we will see a DS overtake out of the textbook right now. I assume goes to the right hand side of the track, moves in front of the V-Cup before hitting the brakes for turn 1. As Kowalska has received another 3-second time penalty, and Sinful is fighting Nocebo into turn 4 just ahead for P11. Currently the 2 positions without any points. They maybe should think about adjusting point system here as well. And John Meister has received another 3-second time penalty. Let's check out what the total penalty count for these drivers looks like. 3 for the top 2, 6 for the next 3 cars, and it's 0 for Snake and Sinful, 13 for T-Brad, 12 for Kowalska, 6 for Sebo, Franklin, and Andy has 3 each as well. And Snake is losing John very soon if he isn't careful. And I didn't plan that through. He thought that too much into turn 4. Sebo now pits from 45 lap old medium tires. What the fuck? Bosnia is certainly my drive of the day if he doesn't fuck it. And Snake has actually lost that. I still think John Meister could go way faster. Way faster than that. And Fellison has now dropped back to 10 seconds to the next car. And yeah. Snake is only 7 seconds away from the next car. Oh no, it's 26. It's 16 laps now. Sorry, I have to correct myself there. I said 16 laps 8 laps ago, 10 laps ago. Obviously there was 26 laps to go. Let's watch T-Burn. T-Burn against Frankie. 8 lap old medium tires against soft tires. Penalty wise, Frankie can't lose this one. Biggest gap also in the field, 16 seconds. No, sorry, 31 seconds. Double the distance. Kovacs behind Frankie. Yeah, also lapping no Seabo. So P8 and 9 are lapping the car in P12. And Katja just lapped Kovacs. And Andy is in no man's land. Jesus Christ. And Sinfo has been lapped by Feddersen and is about to be lapped by John Meister and Pleasant Snake. Yeah, the tires are dropping massively right now. Andy receives another 3-second time penalty for his troubles. Let's see if T-Brand can get a move done here into turn 1. Frankie moves to the outside. And T-Brand is ahead into what is currently P8. If you exclude time penalties. Which we obviously don't do. But for the sake of the racing, that is technically for 8th position. And now Feddersen tires are dropping like crazy. Feddersen tires are dropping like crazy. That must be the worst stint of any league racing driver. League racing? Driver's race I've ever seen. Just too long on these tires. Wish the tires would show that more, but they don't. And Control has received another 3-second time penalty that obviously eliminates him from the race victory now. And it's just a couple of laps to go for Bosnian Helmet's last to first challenge. I don't know if he retired on purpose. As no Seaboys now called it a day. Led by everyone. Didn't seem to be necessary. And called it a day. Fellison is under pressure from his teammate now, but that should be an easy pass for John Meister. They somehow still got close together. Let's see what Pleasant Snake can do in just a couple of laps time. Also, he needs to stay within 6 seconds of John Meister, which he currently is. But his tires are gonna be dropping soon. I'm surprised how Bosnian managed to keep themselves so good in shape. If Pleasant were to be dropping far away from Fallison soon. And that's Kovacs being overtaken by Katja. Katja's dropped back massively. 100% AS charge. No pressure from anywhere. There's still time, but I doubt that John Miles is gonna take Katja's third place away. Same penalties for these two. I just can't get over how okay Katja now is just 2 positions game, but wow, just one guy takes 3 people to a negative start to finishing ratio. And there's a spin by Fallison, who has completely lost his tires now, and is also now in front of him. The tire is now 51 laps old. I hope he turns off these strategy mistakes for next season, as this race feels like an exhibition race. And he pits. I hope he finishes the race. And softs. With the front ring damage repaired. And he's gonna be hunting T-Brand down for 7th. 11 laps to go, that's still quite possible. And he is coming out of the pits now. Isn't too far away from being lapped, actually. Because this is Bosnian Helmet's position on the track. But the tire advantage should be in favor of the Red Bull now. Ten laps to go after this one. Scheinmeister is gaining a bit on Katja still. But Pleasant Snake is losing John Meister, so currently not benefiting of that time penalty. And also Andy is not too far away from Pleasant Snake. So I have no idea how he still needs to go 10 laps. Wow. Second medium was the right choice. Did actually someone do the medium to medium strategy? I think Katja did maybe. John did certainly. But left it very late. Second stop. It's probably gonna get him to third though. Would be a funny podium to finish off the season. Let's quickly talk about. Just gonna put this in here. Constructors World Champ. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hang on. Just wanted to put it by the side here. I think that's fine for now. Just a quick update here. I'm just gonna put this away for now. So, I know you can't see what I was about to talk about. So Mercedes still scores some points. Ferrari has only reserve driver in this race, so the big jump away from them, from the V Cups, is currently under threat, because that's a 16-point gap. Control gets 18 right now, and Pleasant gets 10. That's 28 points, and Andy scores 6. So that's a 22-21 gap. So they're actually overtaking Mercedes for second. Ascent is going 0. Oh, never mind. That is a very crucial move for the Constructors World Championship. And well, for second. But Andy needs to get away by 6 seconds for this to work. So let me... Control takes 18. Snake currently takes 8. That's 26. And the gap is 16. Andy takes 10. So that's 16. And Kovaska takes 1. That's 17. So they're currently missing out on 1 point. If my math is not totally dog shit. 18 and 8. 26. Then they would go to 209 points. Andy scores 10 points. That's 209. And Kovatska... Oh no, Kovatska is about to be overtaken by... Oh my word! Oh my word. Let me turn it down here a bit for you. Oh my word. Sinful could change the outcome if Andy can get away in 7 laps time. There, well, 12 second time penalty for Kovatska is a bit hard. And they are actually getting lapped by both of the other cars I was just talking about. And Sinful decided, yeah, you give me that position, and that's crucial now. Kovacs, they are now equal on points. And Control has taken 2 wins, and Annie has taken 2 wins as well. Let me check. Annie has 2 wins as well. Oh my word. Oh my word. Can't believe that. And Kovatska has decided to retire. He's probably not gonna get P10 anyway. Wow. Didn't think they would get that good. What about Red Bull in this fight? 158. 12 points and 2. That's 14 points. Well. 100. They're not even overtaking Williams. Wow. What happened here now? Okay, just looks odd, okay. Final 6 laps in the race. 13 positions gained from 14th from last on the grid to P1. Only Katja and Sinful gained positions after that. Everyone has lost or has stayed the same. 3 stops for T-Brand, Kovatska, who just retired. Also 3 stops for Andy and Control. 4 for Supermax. And the rest has done 2. Going from Inters to slick tire and later putting on another slick. And Andy is closing in on Katja. Both of them actually are. So Pleasant Snake is gonna benefit from that 6 second time penalty Katja has. And he was taking that race very easy and had front wing damage throughout the race. He's not using the fullest of his battery to his advantage. And you can see in the background how they're closing in. I wonder what happened there. He's just limping home, not using his charge, and he will lose out to both of them behind. because Andy's gonna overtake him soon. And Pleasant Snake is currently through anyway. So that's a good jump for Andy. And Andy has completed the move. That's now... Oh, well, he still hasn't cleared Snake. I would be a 4-point swing now. 16 points. And Catcher now pits. Why? Okay, bro just decided to call it a day because he couldn't finish in 4th. What a poor mindset. Just finish the race, man. And everyone behind that will now be promoted. Or as Kovacs stayed in. Okay, let's rethink that. I just want to do that right now. So that would be... Still 16 points, the gap. Control would get 18 and Snake 10. That's 28 again. And Andy would currently... Oh, well, I have to count in the time penalties. So it's vice versa. So it's 30 points. And then Andy cuts out 10 of that. And Kovatska would have been 10th. So that's 11. So that's 30 to 11. That's a 19. Okay, that would jump by 3 seconds. By 3 points. Well. There's just one single car left on the track that isn't a blue or turquoise color, and that is Frankie in 8th right now. Ferguson will benefit from Treeburns time penalties. Did he actually... Andy still has the fastest lap. Ferguson is 3/10 off of that. And T-Burn has retired! T-Burn just retired! Oh my word. He crashed it on the 3rd last lap. Wow. So Kovalska would get 8 points now. 2 points. Great. Just great. Snake is losing to Andy big time right now. And John Meister has received another 3-second time penalty. I don't think Snake is liking these tires anymore. 27 laps. He just needs to make sure he is not losing more than 3 seconds on the last lap. He would get 10 points, 28. And he would cut off 12. That's exactly 16. And then it would be decided by who has more second places. Oh my god. Snake, you just can't lose this right now, because you are currently holding your team's 2nd place in the Constructors World Championship, and you have roughly a 2-second margin. The final lap of this race is already underway, almost halfway complete by Bosnian Helmet, who has absolutely smashed it today. Was on the right tires when the safety car came out on lap 7. He switched to the softs, held them for 30 laps, put out a gap, switched to mediums, and has never looked back. Last to first challenge completed by one of the greats in this league. He wasn't in for the championship fight, but he certainly put up a show today. And he will win the Brazilian Grand Prix for Season 5 in. No stabilizers allowed. Congratulations to Bosnian Helmet. Control is taken home second position as John Meister is about to cross the line for third. Very odd strategy with another stop to the inter tire, but he completes the podium after being absent from that for some time. And Andy's efforts to have high hopes for the Mercedes team are unanswered because Pleasant is going to take fourth, and with that, second place in the Constructors' World Championship after our winners from Maranello and Fellerson, who had a late spin in this race. We come home in sixth position. Frankie and Sinful are lapped. Big congratulations to Sinful and Pleasant for being without a time penalty after 71 laps of this very lovely circuit, as Fellerson is just trying some donuts. Man, you are good. You are so good at spinning, but you can't complete some donuts. Shaking my head. Good thing you can't be overtaken anymore. And that has been this season. Season number 5. With no stabilizers allowed. Bosnian Helmet is 100% drive of the day. And surely the greatest comeback drive we have seen. The podium once again. Alpine on top in front of V-Cup and Red Bull. Sorry, I have to skip this. I want to have the final result here. So once again, Bosnian taking the win over Control John Meister. Snake up into fourth. Andy has the fastest lap point. But he has a 2-point gap. Yeah, that's 30 points and he just gained 11 back. So yeah, that's not gonna work. Fellerson 6th and Frankie Sinful. Yeah, T1 just retired. A couple of laps to the end. Kacha, I don't know what to say. Kovetska, no Sibo. Supermax and Quincy, who was actually disqualified in the pit lane at the start of the race. And that has been it. And we will be heading into some drivers' interviews for this event. Thinking about who I want to interview, maybe. I think that's fine. Okay, quick break, and then we will be back. We are back for some drivers' interviews after today's season finale of No Stabilizers Allowed for season number 5. A 100% Brazil race with some weather interference at the start of this race. And we are talking to the one guy who completed the first challenge, and it's Bosnian Helmet for IP. Congratulations after that victory. Obviously, there was some task ahead of you. Early stages, you found some grip to get rid of some guys in the midfield. Then the safety car came, and you had the right call on your mind. Pitted for that good gripping, soft tire, extended, and then moved past into first position. Did another pit stop later and finished the race on a high, the season on a high. How do you feel after this one?
Oh, hello, Herman. How are you, mate?
I'm good.
I'm exhausted. I have to admit. So my wrists are killing me. Although I'm driving on G29, but it's still difficult, man. Oh man, it was really exhausting race. Yeah, actually, I was really surprised at the start after that rain that no one took softs on. I managed to keep the pace. The key was just in managing the tires. So I wasn't pushing as hard as I could at the start of the stint. So I knew I could extend the stint on softs. So by 25, 26 laps, and then to go on hards or even better on mediums, which was the right call at the end. Oh, it was really a good race, very intensifying. I don't know. I'm sweating like hell still. So yeah, good. GG's to all the guys who managed to finish the race. It wasn't easy today.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, obviously you were aware of how the drivers around you yeah could have also swapped for different strategies. In that case, obviously control from the start of the race was really there. Obviously had a late call to change for another set of tires. How much did you believe in a good position here, or maybe a podium, or even the race win after your qualifying? Because obviously, when you don't set a time and you have to go through 13 other drivers, a lot of risk is there. So yeah, how did that work out for you? Did you just were on the pace and in the moment at the exact right amount of time to make these moves and move up the field, or what was the key to your success today here?
Actually, the start was tricky. The guys in front were sliding a lot. I had a really good grip, but couldn't actually go through. It was really hard. It was a knife edge to pass someone. It was really difficult. So I lost time there, maybe 5 or 7 seconds to the front runners. But luckily, the safety car showed up, and yeah, I knew I had the chance. And again, I was the only one, I think, on softs in that stint, so it was really good. I could manage the pace and run off for 3 or 4 seconds. Later on, the control actually managed to overtook me. It was a really good racing there, but I was surprised that he didn't go on mediums on that last stint, or even extend his stint on mediums as well. So he could have a chance there. I thought actually he was on mediums also. I was pushing like hell when I saw that actually he's on hard. So yeah, it was good at the end. So nice and clean racing. Oh, first victory, first victory, but Okay, if you remember the first race in Spain, I started last. It was mixed conditions also, and then
Yeah,
4 laps to go. The John Meister actually took me out in that first corner. I was in
I
front,
remember.
and
Yeah.
yeah. So the whole season went down from that moment on. I was always the second one or third. So the first win, it's okay, it's good. So looking forward to next season. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of next season, obviously we discussed at length that you were happy with your performances at time, but obviously you're missing a lot of races. Didn't help you. Every time you were there, you had a good showing. Only off the podium in Silverstone over the season when you raced. So that was quite impressive so far. So what are your goals? What is your main mission for the next season, season 6?
Actually, to be consistent again, and maybe if I could get the Fanatec equipment, it would be good. But I'm happy with this what I've got so far, and just to be here every weekend. So I know I missed a couple of races, 4 or 5. So the next season, I think I will be there more. So I'm actually finishing my PhD this month, so I will have much more time, and it will be. I hope that it will be a really great season, and looking forward to to see maybe some new guys here on the grid.
Yeah, looking forward to that one, obviously. Yeah, have a nice break. Good luck with your PhD, and see you next season.
Thank you, and thank you for all the hard work you're putting on, and looking forward to watch your stream tomorrow. So thank you, Herman.
No
It
problem,
was
no
an honor.
problem.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Let's move to second place and what is a back-to-back pole position for Control in the V Carb. Yeah, that was obviously maybe not the result you were hoping for. Still, a podium at the end is quite strong of a showing. And obviously, that one move in terms of strategy, well, maybe 2 moves. What were your thoughts about this late pit stop to the hards when everyone around seemed to be on that final stint to be going to a medium or even a soft like your teammate did? So, what was the thought process behind the hards there for the final stint?
Hi everyone. My main reason is the medium is I think give up to the last 10 laps maybe because when I pitted, the medium tires is 14%. So when the Boston is go to pit, uh, I need to go the same strategy with Bosnian. So this is the only way to get the win. But yeah, I don't know Bosnian how to get this pace, but he's drive very well.
Yeah, obviously, you were looking very good also in the last race where you took a win in Singapore. Do you think, with a bit more luck or whatever you think has was not available to you today, the win was possible, or did you think that was just the maximum you could do after how the race went?
If I don't mess up my race under the safety car, I do a spinala in the pit lane and I broke my wing. So if I don't do this, might be yes, I be win. But yeah, Boston is very fast today, so I'm not sure. So
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if you know this, but you have now taken second place in the Constructors' World Championship. Both you and Snake scored so many points over Andy, and obviously Kovacs didn't finish, that you're now second. Is that a result you're satisfied with now? Obviously, over the season, you didn't seem to be in any fight overall for any of these titles, because Critic is just so far ahead of the rest, unfortunately. Do you think that's still a moment to celebrate and something to take into next season when we are coming back in 2 weeks' time?
Yeah, this is a very good result for me, I think, because this is my first season without any assist. So yeah, this third place in the constructor is the best, I think, to get today or this season.
And for you personally, you finished third as well in the drivers' championship. Do you think you can extract more out of yourself to get maybe in a fight for second or even first with how critical and Andy have performed over the season?
If I don't get DNF the last 4 or 5 race, might be yes.
Okay. Then thank you very much for your insights and see you for season number 6 in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you.
Thank you.
And let's move to Fellison, P6 today. I have to ask you, how did the 51 lap old hard tires feel at the end?
It actually wasn't that bad, I think. If I didn't have a little spin and I didn't break my front wing, I probably would have taken it to the end.
Oh, actually.
Yeah, he could have done it. It was only like 37%, I think. So yeah, the last 10, 11 laps would have easily gone. But it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a silly mistake. It's just a drop in concentration for a minute. And yeah, I was lucky that I actually managed to keep it out of the wall and I just barely touched it. Yeah, and I wish I didn't try to spin just before I crossed the line.
Yeah.
Because I have failed. Did you see it?
Yeah, I was asking you about how you have so many spins, but you can't do donuts. That doesn't make any sense.
It's unbelievable, unbelievable.
I had that on full camera the whole time. Yeah, was awkward to watch.
Lovely. Yeah.
I'm
It
kidding.
is what it is. I am sweating, man. It's horrible. I took down my force field back to 50, and it was still tough.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I want to talk about the race a bit there in detail now. Obviously, yeah, there was this change of weather when the safety car was also in there. You were the only one at first, because control spun, to go into the hard tires. You kind of were in that fight at the start, but obviously in the long run, there should have been, yeah, maybe, maybe it changed to another tire with a second stop, because you dropped massively behind Andy, and Snake caught you, John Meister caught you. They were so much faster after like the tires exceeded 40 laps. Why did you commit at that stage? Because we even saw late pit stops who like still managed to get something out of the race despite the extended stint. So why just commit to the rest and maybe lose even more, which is obviously maybe the result of the spin as well.
Yeah, I just messed up my strategy. I had no idea. I didn't have any practice really, so I didn't know how long the tires would go, and I thought it was going to be quite a good strategy to go on the hards and then try to go long. First, I've seen Bosnian just drive off into the distance, and I kept saying to myself it's because he's on the softs, and he will be slow, and he just didn't slow down. And yeah, basically the softs and the mediums just went a lot longer than I expected. But once I was on the hard tires and once I've done so many laps, I felt like I would be better off just taking it to the end. But yeah, the wall decided otherwise, so I had to change again. Also, I went with the Inter setup because I thought that at least half the race is gonna be wet, and what was it?
8 laps.
Yeah, yeah. So and it was horrible to drive. I mean, there is not much difference between the Inter setup and the dry setup, but it's just so bad to drive after a couple of laps when I don't know, everything was just off a little. So I couldn't extract everything I could from the car. I did have some good battles with Pleasant.
Yeah,
which is always nice.
I saw that a
Um,
lot.
I wish he would have gone on until the end, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm surprised that so many guys have made it, but I am a bit disappointed. There's a couple left just before the end of the race. There was
Yeah,
not
me
much to
too.
go. But yeah, thank you very much everybody that decided to take part in this. I know it wasn't easy, but at least it's done, and we can all say that we had 100% race just for the final.
Very good. Yeah, obviously, that has now been the conclusion of the season. Yeah, just wanted to ask you, how do you feel about that? What is now probably going to be finest 6th place in the Drivers' Championship? We had a discussion about how, yeah, most of the races didn't feel like you could get the maximum out of them. What is your target for the next season ahead? Because obviously we're going to still be racing on the same game, and there's no real difference, I think, in terms of shifting and how driving styles work in 2 or 3 weeks' time. So how do you improve from that season?
Well, hopefully for the second half of the season, I will just have more time to practice because my work is going to drop off when the winter comes.
Yeah.
So I will have more time to practice. Basically, at the moment, I'm just trying to go full out. So yeah, there is not much time. I practice when I can, but I should do better. I should do just a little bit better, so I can stay in the DRS and then I can make some moves from there, maybe. But to be fair, this season, the top guys were just, I don't know, they are very good, and I don't know if I can get to that level with practice. But yeah, I feel like this season didn't really go my way. Not in this league, not in the other league that I race on Tuesdays. It's just you always have a little bit of a bad spell, but when it ends, I will come back stronger, hopefully.
Okay, and then I wanted to hear something about how you perceive this league over the season as an admin and as a staff member of this. What do you think is the strongest point, the most improved thing that you have seen, and what are you still looking forward for next season? Because when something like this happens, like a jump in attendance, like we just said, and I've seen that myself because I've been here at least over a season now as well. How do you reflect on how the whole season concluded now? Because obviously there was a very dominant performance at the end from Critical, but still a lot of positives, a lot of fights, good races, lots of action, very fair also. What are your key taking points from this season as an admin?
Well, I think one of the best things that made this season better than all the other ones is the streaming and the commentary that we are getting.
Thanks.
Yeah, it is a huge it is a huge deal because you're just making it so much more entertaining and for the people to join in. Everybody kind of likes to watch themselves back, I think. But yeah, we had quite a strong start, but I think not just our league, but this whole game has lost so many players.
I know.
Because of the way it is. So we did have a little drop off by the end of the season, but hopefully next season we can get full grids with loads of reserves and just try to get the grid a bit closer. Try to find the little aliens to come and race against Critical. Hopefully Bosnian's gonna have a good fight with him. Control is getting really good. Like he said, it's his first season without the assists, and he managed to achieve all that he did. Race wins and everything. So yeah, I think next season is going to be even more exciting.
That is true. Let me know, and maybe the people out there as well. What do you think is there maybe a sort of approach that Quincy in a partner league has taken with some sort of the balancing in terms of teammates? Or do you just go up and say, okay, whatever you guys want in terms of cars, teammates you can have, or is there something in the pipeline where you can think of a concept that maybe also favors a bit of balancing? Because I don't want to take away from Critical's work, because if he is that great, he deserves all the credit and the success in the world, and he is also a lovely bloke. So what kind of insights can you give into the next season?
Well, so this season we try to kind of balance the teams out. We only had about 17 drivers in the beginning, so I could only pair them up. And to be fair, Critical has won this all on his own.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not gonna do the team balancing. There is a couple of ideas on how to get people to choose their teammates. I wouldn't like to give Critical anyone from the top 10 as a teammate.
Yeah.
That's one thing, because it's season after season that he's been dominating, and yeah, we will have to look into it first. We will have to see how many people would like to continue racing with us, because some of them might drop off. So we don't know that yet. But
Okay.
by the end of the week, everything should be sorted and everything should be shared with everyone.
Okay, looking forward to that. Yeah, thank you very much for that lengthy interview and your insights also into what to expect from next season. If you enjoyed this has been season number 5 of a great season. Championship goes to Critical Damage, and it's a back-to-back World Championship there as well. Also in Team Constructors Championship, it's a Ferrari Ricci once again. Only 3 times where he attended, he was not on the podium, and that is a remarkable success in the story in itself. And we are looking forward to another season where hopefully more of this action we also have seen today is happening in front of our eyes. If you enjoyed this, make sure to check out No Stabilizers Allowed on YouTube. Give them a subscription there and check out the previous race VODs to see what you missed in terms of action. Also Singapore, very close fight. Top 3 finished within a second of each other. And we had a very good showing throughout the 15 races in this season. If you enjoyed this from the live perspective, then make sure to give my channel a follow and come back in 2 or 3 weeks time for the start of season 6 for No Stabilizers Allowed. Thank you very much for joining me today on this lengthy episode of the Brazilian Grand Prix. And for the next time, we are back to 50% races. Have a good evening, a good rest of the week, and see you in a couple of weeks' time for another great season. And have a good one. Ta-da.